When I teach the hammer fist to my students, the very first thing that I always teach as an application is the use of the hammer fist as a first strike, as a strike to initiate combat. In this case, to strike first when you know that the person in front of you is about to attack you. So you must do something. As a preemptive strike, start from a self-defense type of position and then go directly to the strike without raising your arm, or do a movement prior to the actual strike. You just strike from there. So the application would look something like that. From this type of position, you really launch your shoulder, then your elbow, and then your strike. Okay? It really works well against a somewhat shorter opponent, because my partner is really tall, but I can still do it. Okay? Don't forget to lead with your shoulder and elbow and let the hammer fist fall with all its weight. Boom. Again, it's this type of movement from here, this type of movement, diagonal. Working with the focus pad, it will be like this, train it like this. It's really important to not telegraph, especially this punch. Don't do, because you may have the impulse to raise your arm to gain momentum. No, just go from here, okay? You can really also use this type of structure, really useful in self-defense, especially in close quarters, which is the so-called thinking man stance, when you're like here, listening to the other guy, who is, of course, in that case, he would be rather aggressive, talking to you really aggressively, and you always have your hand here for a possible defensive kind of movement, but again, you will still have this hand here, and the hammer fist would be the ideal option. Okay, so I'm here, and I'm like this, and suddenly I just do this type of movement from here, from here. You can also, as it is usual in self-defense, is a always valuable kind of advice, is that prior to strike, you can ask a simple question just to engage the other guy's mind, you know. So can you explain me? And you go striking. So what do you mean by that? Okay, so what's your name? And you go for your strike. So if you really have a good knowledge of how to rotate and do your diagonal, downward diagonal strike with a lot of torso and wave movement and everything else, and you are confident, then you can probably benefit more from a hammer fist than from a simple straight strike. Okay? Okay. It's really hard to do all the mechanics, biomechanics work and not hit him, to hold back, but just to give you an idea. Okay. Okay. That was enough.